It's been a long time. It's been, I don't even know how many months. It's been months since I've made a video. What have I been doing? What have I been up to? Not a lot. I went to a few Volkswagen shows. I went to a Volkswagen show in Lodi. I had a lot of fun. It really inspired me. It made me miss having a actual bug. There were a few dune buggies there. I videotaped it. I got some footage of it. I haven't made anything with it. I've just been kind of uninspired to make a video. More recently, a lot of life is just happening. Very, very uninspired. So today I had some hours to kill. There's a million things I should be doing instead, but I'm talking about Volkswagens. I kind of just wanted to get this part of the story on film and so I'd stop thinking about it. So the yellow dune buggy, I still own it. It's still great. I don't really have any plans. I like it just the way it is. I don't really have anything to do with it right now other than enjoy it. And it's November and it's rainy, so it's in my backyard. It's covered. It's got a tarp on it. That's probably where it's going to sit for a while. The big, huge, exciting news, which I have so many other things going on that I'm just not that enthusiastic about it right now. So the big exciting news is I bought another car, and it is behind me. It is a 1963 Volkswagen Standard Beetle. Here's the story of how I came to acquire the car, I guess. I saw the car at Kevin's shop, thought it was cool. He had big plans for it. He was gonna build a big motor. He was gonna put the motor in it. He had his own, everyone has their own preferences for ride height and what you do with the interior and so on and so forth. I think he started working on it for himself, and then I think he just kind of lost interest. I think the car got sold at least once. I'm pretty sure twice. It got sold to a guy in the Bay Area, then it got sold to a guy back at Kevin's shop. That guy had it for a while, and then he had some other deals going on. He got hold of a car he used to own that he was more into, and so he was basically letting this go. He was just kind of like, moving on. I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace for no reason, which is a dangerous thing for anybody really, especially for me. I come across this car and it looks familiar, but I'm confused because I know I hadn't known that it had been sold and bought and sold and so on. And so I just started asking questions, and it was a very reasonable price to buy. I was confused because I was like, this seems like a great deal and a car that I really like, but it can't be the same one. And so I reach out to the seller who works at Kevin's shop, and he's like, yeah, this was Kevin's car. Now I own it. Do you want to look at it? And I was like, sure. So I went to the shop, and there it was. It was the same car. They had changed front beam. They had put a stock beam on it with drop spindles, and it had some different, they're like lowering plates on the back. They took those off, put stock plates on, but then had lowered it a little bit, and it looked okay. It's not really my style. I like them a little bit lower, but I was like, the rest of the car it had no motor. It had a 6-volt transmission, so probably the original 63 transmission. Kevin Fowler had done a bunch of work to it and had kind of gotten everything kind of working, the lights working, because this car, if you go back and watch that episode, I'll sum it up for you, had been in a fire. The car had caught on fire while out driving in Oakland with its previous owner. It had burnt for a few minutes and they had put it out. So at that point, that owner turned the car in to insurance or salvaged it basically. So it lost its title, it lost its plates. It needed lots of work, lots of different things. It needed a gas tank, it needed a bunch of wiring, it needed a harness, headlights, all kinds of stuff, right? And that kind of stuff had already been done by Fowler and Kevin. They had put wheels and tires on it because the tires had actually melted. That's an actual picture of the car while it's on fire. I go look at the car, no motor, but great car. It's got a 4-tab hood. It's got like early kind of Euro fenders. It's just cool. It's a Patina car. If you're not into Patina cars, you're gonna hate this car. Not only is it a Patina car, it's a fire survivor car. So I still have the original steering wheel that's all crispy. You get soot on your hands every time you drive the car, which I think I'm gonna change. I have another wheel that will work, but I was inspired to start to build this car. That is the first car I ever owned as a person. I was 16 years old. I think I was 15 when I got this car. And I had to pay for some of it, and my parents paid for the other part of it. And I was into Volkswagens at the time because one of my good friends was into Volkswagens. He had a white 64. I ended up with this 68, which I am not into. If you're into Volkswagens, 67 is the weird year of kind of, you get a little bit of the 66, get a little bit of the 68. But honestly, 67 is too new for me, although I've seen really cool 67s and 68s. Like, I love all bugs, but my preference is 64 and down. So 63 is great. Obviously, for me, it's the older the better. Oval windows are great, split windows are great. That's too much money. For what I can do, what I can afford, it's a car like this. So yeah, so my first car was a bug. This car is basically, if I could go back and be 16, 17, whatever, and kind of have any car, I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily have done a Patina car in the 90s because they weren't really a thing, but now they are a thing and I love them. I had a 60 Carmen Ghia that I kind of messed around with for a while that I believe is in the UK now. It was a Patina car, and I just think Patina cars are like super original. They're one of a kind. And if you don't know what a Patina car is, short version is take a 1963 Volkswagen, let it age for 60 years, and don't repaint it. And let it sit in the field for a while. Let it sit in the sun for a while. It's gonna get a patina, that's what they call it, as the paint breaks down. Maybe someone changes the color, or maybe someone fixes, bondos something, or fixes a fender or whatever, and didn't have enough money to really repaint the whole car. It just kind of wears its life on its sleeve. So it's really kind of an honest car. Some people say they look trashy or junky or whatever. I say they look weathered and they look original. And there is no other car in the world that looks like this car. So let's say you had a 1963 Volkswagen and you painted it Gulf blue and you restored it and put it back to stock, and that's really cool. That's not my style, but that's really neat. Guess what? There are probably a lot of those out there. There's only one car like this, and I really appreciate the customization and making the car your own, making it a reflection of your personality, right? Like all custom cars. And for me, lower is better. Even though it's way less convenient, it's way more limited. As a car, I was driving this car down what's supposed to be a well-maintained thoroughfare, big road. I hit something, let's just call it a pothole. I felt like the whole car skipped off the ground, right? It hit the front beam. I don't even know what it was. It was part of the road. Anyway, it's not a smooth ride. Taking this car out of town is pretty sketchy, to say the least. So it's less practical, but it's got style. I think with my personality, if it doesn't have style, then I don't want to do it, right? It's not appealing to me. So even though it's less practical, it does have a lot of style. A long way to go to get to where I want it to be like a really unique car. It has so much potential. So yeah, that's what's going on. That's what I've been doing. This little Beetle is my main focus. Where am I at right now? I went out, I found a motor for it. I bought the motor, I brought it back. So the car was at Major's Air Cooled already. I brought him the motor, and then we did some trading on some exhaust parts because the motor I bought was out of a Baja. So the header and the muffler were just wrong. And I traded Dave for a few things. They put it in the car. They got all the lights working, and I drove it home. Then I think I was there, I don't know. I was still trying to get some other stuff, some other parts, interior parts, just different parts. And they happen to have a narrowed adjustable beam, which I didn't like the ride height the car was at. So I bought that from Kevin. I brought the car back to Kevin. He put the beam in. To get a title, you have to have a VIN verification, and you have to have what used to be a brake and lamp inspection, and now it's turned into something else. It's like a vehicle safety inspection, and it's expensive and it's way more thorough. I called around and finally found a place in Stockton that does it. They kind of ran through all the things that needed to be working. A lot of weird stuff. So I had to buy a speedometer because my speedometer was melted. Some fuses, various things. And also I was worried about the turn signals because the car doesn't have turn signals at all. So Kevin wired it to have the parking lights as the turn signals, and I thought they were gonna ding me for that basically. So I bought like a little trailer, DOT-approved trailer turn signals, just kind of wired them up. I went to do the test, I went to do the inspection, and the shop immediately said, first off, the beam is too narrow to even, rack the car. They have to put the car on a rack and check the brakes. All of the safety stuff that has to do with your brakes. They inspect your tires. They inspect all your lights. And yeah, and it's more expensive than any brake and lamp inspection I've ever done on a car. I'm kind of stuck to where I have to put the original beam back in to get it to pull onto their rack so they can do the brake inspection. All the lights are working now, all the turn signals, when you turn on your brights, there's a little blue light that's on your speedometer, that has to work. You have to have idiot lights that work inside your car. When you turn your key, signal lights have to work inside the car. All these different little things. And they all work, but the car was too low to even get on the rack. So low car problems, right? I'm kind of at a standstill. I need to do a bunch of other stuff to do this inspection, to get the title clean and clear, to get my plates, to get tags, to get all the stuff to get on the road. It's November. I don't know when this is going to happen. Fairly soon. December sometime, maybe? I don't know. Maybe January. I'm not sure. I'm not really in a rush anymore. The car is kind of complete. I have some interior stuff I want to do. Not that much because I kind of like it the way it is. It's really rough. There is no interior. It is just bare metal. So Fowler, who owned it before me, did do the front seats and the rear seat in like this kind of cool striped custom looking fabric, and it turned out great. And I'm just like, that's perfect. So I'm kind of up in the air on what I kind of want to do a carpet kit, just the interior carpet, just because. And I'm not sure on the color. I definitely don't want to do black. I want to do something weird. I want to do something original. I want someone to be like, I did not expect that before I open the door, right? I don't know. Orange, or the seats are kind of an orange color, an orange and black. And for a nickname, I thought it would be funny to call it Freddy Krueger, just because it's been burnt and it's back from the dead, and the orange and the black like his sweater. I don't know. You can help me out with a nickname. It's had several nicknames. It's funny, Kevin tells a story. So the first guy named it the Grub Screw. Kevin named it Burnt Nasty. And now I'm calling it Freddy Krueger just because of where it's been and what it's done. So it's a survivor. The car's got a great story. I'm trying to leave some of the burntness to it. When you drive it, you can smell like this car's seen some things. It's been through some things. I've got other plans for it. I want to do polished Fuchs for wheels. I missed out on some wheels here locally on some MP5 spokes that would have looked really good. I like it when a car, especially a Patina car, looks just super crusty, but then has really nice wheels. I don't know why. I just like the way that looks. The juxtaposition of what's going on with that car? But look at those wheels, right? Like, that's all you can afford. Which is true. Those wheels are ridiculously expensive, and they make, I'm talking repos. I'm not even talking real ones. Like, just reproduction ones are fine with me. The other thing I do want to do a Safari front window. This car barely wants to go 50 miles an hour. The motor's fine. It's just, it's geared with, I need a 67 transmission, even though it's so low. It's like, how fast do you think you're going to go? You're going to hit something in the car. Literally skips off the ground, and it's like painful to drive. So I don't know how fast I'm really going to go, but I do want to drive to shows. I do want to drive it to shows. There's a big one in Pleasanton. There's the one in Lodi that's not so bad. There's one in Roseville, and there's, I want to say, Madera. I'd like to be able to drive to those shows. So we'll see if that's in the cards. I think by next summer, a lot of this will be done. I don't know if the Safari window will be in, since I looked up how much those are, and they're not cheap. Honestly, the interior is the last thing I'm going to get to, I'm sure. I'd rather get the car running and driving really good and then do the Safari window, because I just think they're cool. And it's funny, I was thinking about, like, why are those neat? And it's as close to a bus as I'm ever going to get. I've just seen buses, and that's the hierarchy for Volkswagen guys. For me is like, bugs are at the bottom, right? Or basically. And then, buses are at the top. And then if you're into other stuff, so be it. I've never really been into, notchbacks are up high, but they're not above buses. Buses, crew cabs, single cabs, all that stuff is way up here to me. It's just the coolest Volkswagens that are still around. The bugs are like the entry level, but they can be really cool. That's right. What inspired me to do all this was I was at the show in Lodi, and I saw a couple of Patina cars. I saw some really, really low cars, and I was just like, man, those look so great like that. I was in a bug club. This was the late 90s, and I just had a ton of fun. We went to Bugorama in Sacramento and just hung out a lot and just drove around and didn't really get into any trouble. Went to the drag races and went to car shows. And anyway, that community still exists. I feel like they're all my age. Some of them are younger. Most of them are older than me. Yeah, just to hang out and enjoy your car. So that's what I plan on doing with this. And I'm super excited to own it. This will be what I'm making videos about. Again, I haven't made videos in a while, and I've just been very, like I said, uninspired. I hope to make more videos as I do different things to this car. So yeah, so that's it. Here's how the car sits right now. As you can see, I'm doing something. I'm changing a tire and a wheel, but you can kind of get a sense of the patina situation we got going on here. So here's the kind of whatever thrown together turn signals. This is the hood. It's been just clear coated over this patina, and then the top has kind of taken on this was engulfed in flames. This was on fire, and it's just been kind of put back together. And what else is going on? And then the interior. So that's I did put a speedometer in there that, let's see, I've got the old one somewhere. You got to see that. And then it's very, it's a little bit bleak in here. So yeah, these are the seats that we got going on. And then just not much else. No headliner. I do have a back seat. These are the wheels that are going, this wheel's going back on. This was the speedometer. Obviously it's seen better days. And the light didn't work. I don't even know if they're really gonna check that, but the bright light didn't work. So, to the back. And it's just a 1600 dual port, single carb. That's where we're at. I don't know when the next episode will be and what will be happening. And the very next thing for the car, I'm still working on the title. I'm still working on this inspection. Maybe I'll show that whole process. I don't know. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks.